Hello, YouTubers. I just want to update you on some things that have been happening here at the church. Been busy. So a lot of work's been getting done. Sometimes it feels like it's not, but then you look at it and it really is. So here's an example. That sidewalk was not there last week. I actually shoveled that gravel and stuck it in the hole over there. We have to keep fixing this because it runs all the way down. So I had to sweep that twice and get it fixed. But it's done for a week or two. Then we got this all prettified with a nice little fountain. Next project is over here. I would say people are gross and disrespectful because there is so much garbage over here. We keep picking stuff up and it's just disgraceful. So this is the next thing we conquer. We did get the tree cut down for her though, which was awesome. It fell on her house. She was so thankful because she could actually see in her windows. Prior to that, it wasn't even done. I got all this is weeded. The sidewalks are all trimmed and looking good. I have to finish power spraying. You can see we did power spray, but look how much dirt. Look, you never know until you trim your sidewalks how much took over that sidewalk, or the dirt and the grass. I have a little bit of work left on it, but it's pretty much done. The good thing is, the exciting part is when you do stuff like that, it kind of encourages others, and that's how your light shines in the neighborhood. Because what happened is, I was out there and ours looked so nice. I did do a little bit of the neighbors also, and I power sprayed, but the neighbor was like, "Oh, I need to do my sidewalk," and this was almost 90% grass. But that's what happens is you start doing something and others are like, "I need to clean my yard up too." And that's how we are in our spiritual life. You start cleaning yourself up, and then your friends and your family see, and they just want to get their stuff together too, and they start cleaning themselves up. And that's what happened. We were just cleaning, and our son's like, "Mom, is this a competition?" She's like, "No, it just looks so nice. I want mine to look that nice." And that's what, honestly, that's what happens in our lives. Down here, we have this was a mess when we took it over too. There's vehicles here. There's a ton of garbage. There's a ton of weeds. This top part was cut, but from the cross back was not cut. And so this is what happened is we've been slowly cutting this back, and I finished to get to this part this week. I did this big chunk. We did get a lot of this done before. Got some blueberry bushes down here, and I got my lamb's ear planted, so this lamb's ear will grow and spread. That way we don't have as much heel to cut, which is going to be nice. And we got that all cleaned up. This was that area over there by the trees where that grass is just burnt. It was just, someone was just storing their stuff there, and it was an absolute total mess. It looked disgusting, and it's all cleaned up and looking nice. We have a little bit more work to do, but most of it's cleaned up. Got some trees to take down too. Hopefully we'll get to them before winter. It's been getting chilly and cold, and I don't want to quite say that fall might be coming early this year. Then over there, there was such a pile of garbage that we actually took out of there, because that's part of this property that we acquired, and that also had vehicles and trailers and a bunch of tires and garbage just all through it. and it's halfway cleaned up, so we're going to try to get to the other half before winter also. So these are our 2 projects that are left to clean up the neighborhood some. It's amazing though of how much stuff, like, they use the property and it's not even their property. We've been cleaning it up, trying to get the neighborhood cleaned up. That's why we acquired the field here and that lot over there was 1 to clean it up, 2 to use it for outreaches. But it's been encouraging some of the neighbors to actually clean some of their stuff up, and we have been blessed. I mowed the grass this week, and I'll say, when I was mowing the grass, I thought, most of the time some people mow the grass here, it's not to talk bad on anyone, they're always in a hurry. I don't know why there's so many people, and it's not our lot or our grass, but you see it at lots of places. Like, people are just hurrying and rushing through it. And when they rush through it, there's a bunch of grass missed. And I was watching, and I was reminded when I was doing it that God reminded me how there used to be a turtle, and a rabbit on the lawnmowers, right? And there's the fast mode and the slow mode. And if you went fast, like, you did miss a lot of the yard. You had to go slow. Not slow, too slow, because then the lawnmowers would stall when I was a kid. But you had to go fast enough, that it would go, but you would still cut. So you had to have that, like, medium pace. Well, our lives are so much like that, and I was reminded of that. I had this neighbor, Uncle Bill, I called him. He really wasn't my uncle, but this is how God used me as a child, okay? As a child. And this man lost his wife, and I would go and, like, hang out with him and sit over there, and he would, when I was little, he would sit me on his lap when he mowed my mom's grass and his grass, and I'd get to mow the grass. And then when I was about 10 years old, he started teaching me how to do the riding lawnmower myself, and I started doing it, and I cut the grass all that summer, my yard and his yard, and he actually blessed me with his lawnmower. So the next year I was like 11. I pretty much was like, I had my own lawn care businesses. I only did like my mom's and his and someone else, my grandma's. I would ride back to and do my grandma's, but I was like mowing grass. Yes, it probably kept me out of trouble, because I'm sure then they were kids were getting in trouble, but I was so blessed with that lawnmower. And when I was in 4th grade, like, I started buying my own school clothes at around 4th grade-ish. It was 4th grade, and I would work another summer job, and I would mow grass, and I would buy my own, because God just, like, always took care of me. And that lawnmower was such a blessing, because I got to mow the grass. But I was so reminded of how God used me and how God showed me at the age of 10 that sometimes we just gotta slow down. We can't always be rushing through stuff, because there's so many people that just want to rush through stuff. And everyone wants the promotion, everyone wants their own lawn care business, everyone wants to just, like, start out, own a business, and get rich, but no one wants the process. And it's like that everywhere, even in our spiritual lives. Like, so many people want the promotion, but nobody wants the process. No one wants to go through the crushing and the pressing that you go through, like, to become the new wine. No one wants the process of slowing down and just taking time and spending it with God and letting Him work through you and letting Him pull the stuff out that needs pulled out of you and letting Him crush you and press you spiritually some to remove that stuff and the junk that we don't want out of our lives. We just want to go, go, go. We want to be that rabbit on the lawnmower versus, taking it down a little bit like the tortoise, because it even goes back to the tortoise and the hare story. Like, the tortoise actually beat the hare because he slowed down and he was at a steady pace. Our spiritual lives are the same way, and so are our everyday lives. People are just rushing like a bunch of rabbits, the hare, and they think they're getting somewhere, but they're not, because they're missing so much of the grass that still needs mowed, so much that still needs taken out. Like, and we're doing it in our spiritual lives. We're doing it in our regular lives. We need to slow down, be a few hares in our lives, and quit acting like, or be a few tortoises and quit acting like the hares, just rushing through. Take your time. Go through the process. Learn it. You know, if you want a lawn care business, learn what weeds to pull. Learn what to run over, what not to run over. Learn the basics of it, and then keep growing and growing and growing. And it's like that with anything. And your spiritual life's the same way. Keep learning. Today even, I was in something. I was just like diving and diving and diving and diving and diving. And it just amazes me, because no matter how much you're in your Bible, you can still learn. And there's still a process. No matter where you are in your spiritual walk, we're constantly growing. We're constantly having stuff taken out of us. And we have to be willing to just continue the process. Keep doing it. Keep going after it. Keep learning. No matter what business you have, there's always room for growth. You know, Pastor Rick's been in real estate. I remember he got his 15-year badge. I think it was the first or second year that we got married. So he's going on 20 years of real estate. I was thinking this the other day. 20 years. And guess what? He's still going through trainings. 20 years. There's some he's required. There's some he has to go through for licensing every year. But he's still constantly going through training. Nurses are the same way. And my sister, she's a dental hygienist. She's required by the state to accumulate so many hours every year. So no matter where you're at, you gotta keep growing. You gotta just take time and go through the process and do what you need to do. Be the tortoise. Take your time. Do it right. Quit rushing and rushing and rushing. Slow down. Because I know when I'm going too fast, sometimes I miss smelling some of the flowers. Sometimes I miss the beauty that God put in front of me. Sometimes I miss part of the process because I'm just rushing. We just need to slow down. Let God talk to us. Let Him speak to us. And take time with Him. Remember, time. Ecclesiastics. Time. That book is so good. There's a time for everything. And there's a time in our life we just gotta slow down. And we should be doing it at least a little bit each day. Taking time with God. Slowing down. Taking time to learn things. I do with homesteading. I'm constantly still learning things. Everything's a process. But we gotta slow down and do the process. Take the time. So that's your word of the day. I didn't even give you a Bible verse today. I did speak some biblical word, but you didn't. I didn't give you any verses. I'm sorry. But y'all get it. Just slow down. You know, and look at the blessings. Because mowing the grass, I realized how blessed I was to have Uncle Bill in my life. And how God used me, a child of 10. I was saved around that time. To just spend time with this man. And sit on his porch and just chill with him. And the time that I was taking of spending time with him, that his family didn't. Even though a lot of his family the one lived diagonal from him, two other family members lived a couple blocks away, and they very, very seldom visited him. But I spent time with that man, and I sat there and I talked to him. Because he was lonely and he had no one else. And in the process of doing that, he blessed me with all his lawn equipment at the age of 10. God's so good. And I had money to help buy school clothes because my mom was a single mom. You know, that really taught me that it takes a village. And when you're a single mom and someone sews into your kids, it is truly a blessing. But also, it also showed me that if you just take a little bit of time with someone, you never know how blessed you're going to be. It's the same with Jesus. If you take time with Him, you'll be amazed at the blessings you see in your life. You just got to take the time out. Slow down, take the time, and listen. You'll be blessed. I've been so blessed in my life, and that's just something that happened when I was 10. There's so many other blessings, and I love how God just brings us back as a flashback as I'm mowing the grass. And it showed me that blessing today, and He's so good. And I'm so thankful that I had Uncle Bill in my life, and he blessed me with the knowledge that I received with mowing the grass, but I also received that lawnmower. So, take time. Go find someone that needs God in their life, that they need some light in their darkness, that they're lonely, and just spend some time with them and see what God does in your life. And don't forget, God wants that same time spent with Him. So just sit there in His presence and listen and talk to Him. Well, I'll talk to you all later. Have a blessed day, and slow down and be blessed. I'll talk to you later.